The round of 16 in this season's Champions League is just a week away, but the excitement surrounding the tournament is at an all-time high. The bracket has officially been announced and we now know the path that each side will have to go through to make it to the final in Munich. But which sides have a clear advantage over their opponents and which clubs have a massive task ahead of them? Today we're ranking the 16 teams left in the Champions League to see who has the strongest chance of making it to the quarterfinals and beyond and who will be heading home earlier than expected. These 16 sides have made it this far, so let's go ahead and rank them. Starting in the F tier, the only side that ranks this low is Club Brugge. The Belgian side pulled off an incredible upset over Atalanta in the playoffs, but I don't see a repeat of that accomplishment happening against Aston Villa. Club Brugge's issues lie in their shaky defensive setup, which have allowed 2.1 goals per match in the Belgian First Division and 1.3 goals per match in the Champions League. They've done a decent job on attack, scoring 12 goals in 10 games, but with their 41.6% possession per game is one of the lowest in the league. Their last 5 matches have been a mixed bag in terms of results, with 3 solid wins but a draw and a loss against weaker opposition. Club Brugge have a chance against Aston Villa, but in the grand scheme of things, they can only crack the F tier today. Next up in the D tier, we have Aston Villa, PSV Eindhoven, and Feyenoord. Aston Villa were one of the most exciting sides in the league phase, but the knockout round draw was not kind to them. The English side were solid on both sides of the pitch, scoring 13 goals and conceding just 6 across 8 matches, with 4 clean sheets along the way. Villa's run of form has been questionable to say the least, and with a 4-1 loss to Crystal Palace, their confidence has surely taken a hit. Aston Villa will have to play at their best to get past Brugge, but with PSG or Liverpool waiting for them on the other side, their odds aren't exactly in their favor. Moving over to PSV Eindhoven, the Dutch side will have to use their momentum from the Juventus win if they want to get past a solid Arsenal side. PSV were one of the wildcard teams in the first 10 Champions League games, scoring 20 goals and conceding 15 along the way while managing just 1 clean sheet. Their last 5 matches have demonstrated that what they lack in defense, they more than make up for in attack, which will be their game plan against their English opposition. It will take a classic PSV performance to beat Arsenal, but even if they do, their Spanish counterparts will prove to be too much for them. And finally, we have another Dutch side in Feyenoord, who are one of the hardest teams to predict based on their form this season. With 20 goals scored and 22 goals conceded so far, the recent win over AC Milan is shadowed by some devastating losses to Bayer Leverkusen and Lille earlier in the season. The Dutch side are unbeaten in their last 5 matches, but their biggest test of the season lies ahead with Inter Milan, who currently sit at the top of Serie A. It would be a mistake to rule out Feyenoord this early, but they will have to play at 110% if they want to make it to the next round. These 3 sides can pull off an upset on their best day, but the rocky road that lies ahead of them lands them in the D tier for now. Next up in the C tier, we have the Portuguese side Benfica and the French side Lille. Benfica were one of the most exciting sides to watch in the league phase, and their efforts have landed them a matchup with Barcelona. With 20 goals scored and 15 conceded over their first 10 games, along with 4 clean sheets, their record on paper isn't bad at all. They've managed to score 11 goals in their last 5 matches while winning 4 and drawing just 1, so they have a lot of momentum going into the next round of the Champions League. What stands in their way is a Barcelona side who got the better of them the last time they played, and it will take a heroic performance to win this time around. Next up is Lille, who finished 7th in the league phase, picking up 5 wins, 1 draw, and 2 losses along the way. They were a goal-scoring threat in their first 8 matches, putting up 17 goals and conceding just 10 while recording a clean sheet as well. Their form over the last 5 matches has been hit or miss, with a questionable draw in the Coupe de France and an even more questionable loss in Ligue 1, placing them in an uncertain position. With their next opponents coming in the form of Borussia Dortmund, they will need their star players to shine on the big stage if they want to make their mark in the knockout rounds. These 2 sides have what it takes to pull off a massive upset, but until they prove us wrong, they will go into the C tier. Next up in the B tier, we have PSG, Atletico Madrid, Arsenal, and Borussia Dortmund. PSG had a rollercoaster ride of a season in the league phase, but their most recent win over Brest proved to us just how good they can be. With 24 goals for, 9 goals against, and 4 clean sheets in their first 10 matches, the Parisian outfit could be the surprise side in the knockout rounds. They've managed to get an impressive 5 wins in their last 5 matches, all while being the dominant side in each one of those games. The only thing standing in their way in a direct route to the final is a brilliant Liverpool side, so they'll have to play at their absolute best if they want to advance. Next up are Atletico Madrid, who managed to grab 6 wins from 8 matches in the league phase, impressing us all along the way. The Spanish side put up an impressive 20 goals while conceding just 12 and managing a clean sheet as well against Sparta Prague. Atletico have been decent in their last 5 matches, but since they've only managed just 2 wins in that time frame, it's hard to really gauge where they are heading into the knockout rounds. Their round of 16 matchup against local rivals Real Madrid will be one of the best games of the tournament, and if they can truly find some form, they could pull off a great upset. Moving over to Arsenal, the English side had one of the best runs in the league phase, putting up 6 wins and 19 points as they finished 3rd in the table. Their league phase numbers are truly absurd, as they went on to score 16 goals and conceded just 3 while putting up 5 clean sheets in total. Their last 5 matches haven't gone exactly to plan, with some questionable losses to Newcastle and West Ham, but also an incredible win over Manchester City. They should have a relatively easy time coming up against PSV, but either one of the Madrid sides that they'll face next could prove too much of a challenge. And finally, we have Borussia Dortmund, who just narrowly missed out on the top 8 as they finished in 10th place with 15 points. Dortmund had a solid season on paper, putting up 25 goals and conceding 12, as well as picking up 5 clean sheets along the way. Dortmund's last 5 matches have not been their strongest, with losses to Stuttgart and Bochum, while also grabbing impressive wins at Sporting and Union Berlin. They got relatively lucky in their draw as they will face Lille, and they should come out on top if they play to their strengths. These 4 sides are looking confident going into their round of 16 matchup, so they go into the B tier today. Moving on to the A tier, it's made up of Real Madrid, Bayern Munich, Bayer Leverkusen, and Inter Milan. Real Madrid had a rather disappointing time in the league phase, but their brilliant performance over Manchester City in the playoffs was an incredible redemption story. The Spanish Giants were dominant on the attacking side of the ball, putting up 26 goals while conceding 15 along the way and keeping just 1 clean sheet. They've been relatively dominant in their last 5 matches, with their 1-1 draw over Osasuna being the only question mark in their recent run of form. Real Madrid will have a slight advantage in their matchup over Atletico, but they will have to show up and perform if they want to repeat as champions. Another side that was disappointing in the league phase was Bayern Munich, but things are starting to look up for the German Giants. The Bavarian side put up 23 goals and conceded 14 in their first 10 matches while picking up 2 clean sheets along the way. Their last 5 matches have been mediocre for their incredibly high standards, but their most recent win over Eintracht Frankfurt will be the spark that they need to move forward in hopes of a title. Their round of 16 matchup with Leverkusen will be must-see football, and if their star players live up to the expectations, they should be able to come out on top. Speaking of Bayer Leverkusen, they managed to impress us all as they finished in 6th place in the league phase with a respectable 16 points. Their stats in the first 8 matches weren't anything to rave about as they scored 15 goals while conceding 7, but they did manage to get 5 clean sheets nonetheless. Apart from some underwhelming 0-0 draws, Leverkusen have been solid in their last 5 outings, and it doesn't look like they're slowing down anytime soon. It will take a vintage Bayer Leverkusen performance to get the better of Bayern Munich, but nothing is ever impossible with this team as they've proven many times in the past. And finally, we have Inter Milan, who managed a staggering plus 10 goal differential as they finished 4th in the league phase. The Italian Giants had one of the most impressive stat lines in their first 8 matches as they scored 11 goals while conceding just 1, and they managed to pick up 7 clean sheets as well. Their last 5 matches have seen them slow down significantly with 2 losses to Fiorentina and Juventus, but they are still just as strong as they were a few weeks back in the Champions League. Inter will be tested as they come up against Feyenoord in the next round, but with a rock-solid defense, they should have no issues moving on in this competition. These 4 sides look incredibly strong heading into the next round, so they go into the A tier for now. And finally, to round out the S tier, we have Liverpool and Barcelona. Liverpool were the strongest side in the league phase, and they were just a few goals away from having a perfect record. They put up a very impressive 17 goals while conceding just 5, while also picking up 5 clean sheets along the way. They have been performing below their standards in the last 5 matches, but with an impressive 2-0 win over Manchester City at the Etihad, they might have finally found their spark again. Their round of 16 matchup against PSG will be non-stop action from start to finish, and they should be the favorites to make it out of that tie. And finally, to round out this tier list, we have Barcelona, who finished 2nd in the league phase while picking up 19 points. The Spanish Giants had the best goal differential in their first 8 matches, scoring 28 goals while conceding just 13 as they picked up 2 clean sheets along the way. Their last 5 matches have been thrilling to watch, and they will be out for revenge after their 4-4 draw with Atletico Madrid. Barcelona have the talent and the momentum to beat Benfica, and how far they go after that will be entirely up to them. These 2 sides are the best of the remaining teams in the Champions League, and they go into the S tier today. So there you have it, we've ranked all 16 teams that are left in this season's edition of the Champions League. Some sides have an easier path to the final than others, while other clubs will have to fight their way through the bracket if they want to reach the final. The round of 16 is just the beginning for the Champions League drama that is about to unfold, and it will be a thrilling ride to see who can make it to the final. It's a win or go home time for these 16 sides, so let's see who can handle the pressure. But what did you think of my ranking for the 16 teams that are left in the Champions League? What are some of your craziest predictions for the round of 16, and who do you think will make it all the way to the final? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe for more football content, tier lists, and everything in between, and as always, I'll catch you next time.